How's it hanging? How's it happening? You guys know who it is. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by My Song a Day Rock 2000 Day. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Today is July 7th, and I got a good one for you today. But before we get going, let me go through my shameless plugs. This is, of course, the point where I put any advertising in there to let you guys know who sponsors the podcast. Right now, that's nobody. So we're just going to plug our own stuff. So please follow My Song a Day Rock 2000 Day on social media on places like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's where you can find the 30-second song of the day previews every single day. You can find out anytime anything gets released, and you can connect with us on many different ways. Instagram is probably the most popular platform right now to do it. So you can connect with us whenever we ask you different questions like, what's your favorite song from this band? What's your favorite album from this band? What's your, pick these two bands. You know, I think the one I did last Thursday was Bad Omens versus Landmarks. Which one do you like more? And tell me why. And then also connect with you guys on Instagram with our IGTV videos, which happen every single Tuesday night. And then our Instagram live videos, which happen every single Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central. It's a fun time. You can kind of come hang out with us, have a good time. And we just have a great time talking about music and anything else for an hour. So link description below for that. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel as well, because we do a lot of fun different YouTube videos for this channel. We do our album reviews. We do the Kevin Figures Out series where I figure out if I like a band or an artist or not, which is always a fun time. Getting more into the questions as well. And then, of course, you know, wait for 2020 end of the year, because we're going to do year-end awards. And I got even more of them to go through. Yeah. And with the YouTube videos and the Chord Progression Podcast, you can find those videos right here on this YouTube channel. And with the Chord Progression Podcast, you can also listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play, because on this podcast, we are interviewing all the emerging bands in rock and metal and all the subgenres that are ready to explode. And boom, I found another one. So I was reading an Alt Press article, I think it was around the beginning of June, that mentioned this band. I checked out their stuff, their song Insult to Injury. I checked out the video. The imagery is incredibly vivid on it. And it is incredible to listen to as well, just how much raw emotion is in there, especially from the lead singer, Creature. This is a band called Rebelmatic. I would say, you know, they are a hardcore punk band, but there's so much more going on there than hardcore punk. I love the way that their vocalist, Creature, describes it. He described it as James Brown in a mosh pit, and it honestly really fits. So you guys are in for one hell of a treat, because this is almost a month in the making. We are finally getting this together. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listen to the Chord Progression Podcast. Please welcome to the show Creature from the band Rebelmatic. So, are you guys ready? Because I'm going to go all Pokemon style on this and put the hat backwards for this. So, are you guys ready? Let's go! Yeah! Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. This one has been a couple weeks in the making. I'm super excited that we finally are able to do this. We are featuring today a punk rock band, hardcore punk rock band. Absolutely love their sound, out of New York City. Please welcome from the band I already messed this up. Please welcome from the band Rebelmatic, the vocalist Creature. So Creature, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
What's up? How you doing, Kevin? I'm glad we finally got this.
Yeah, me too.
I'm glad we were cutting up. I'm glad we finally got this happening after a couple of weeks, though. I'm excited about it.
Hey, we work as hard as we can to make sure we figure this out, and then all of a sudden, boom.
It happens.
Third time's the charm, right?
Third time's the charm, absolutely. We're here now.
Yeah, and just want to get started out. So if you want to introduce yourself, introduce the band basically to the fans here, the Chord Progression Podcast, go for it.
My name is Creature. I'm a vocalist and founder of a band called Rebelmatic in New York City. We have an album called Ghosts in the Shadows coming out August 28, 2020 on Right Recordings, produced by Mark O'Connell of Taking Back Sunday and Dan Wallace. Our sound sounds like James Brown and Mosh Pit. Get in tune. I gave it all quick. Look, I'm ready. I'm pro. I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
Oh, hell yeah, you're ready for it. But James Brown in a mosh pit, that is an absolutely incredible way to put it. Holy shit.
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready.
And like you said, Ghost in the Shadow, newest album coming out on August 28th. And I'm looking forward to that as well, especially after listening to your most recent single at the time of we're recording this. And also where I found the song from an Alt Press article that came out back in June, because I looked through it. There were two bands. Yeah, right at the beginning of June.
Oh, it's in July. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, absolutely in June. Yes, sorry about that.
Yeah,
everything is bleeding into each other, man. I apologize.
Oh, I totally understand. It's summer now, and I mean, every day kind of runs together at this point. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so like I saw the All Press article. I'm like, okay, I kind of jumped in, took a look at it, found Insult to Injury that was released on June 3rd, I think. Was that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And then there was a music video to go along with it. So I listened to it, pulled up the video as well, watch it, and my first thought was, yeah, I'm definitely trying to get these guys in the podcast one way or another. Don't know how we're going to do it, but I'm making sure it happens one way or another. And now we're doing it. So, yeah.
Well, you made it happen, man. You did it. And it's funny, you reached out to us like without the public. We got a publicist and all that stuff. You did it the old-fashioned way, like hit us on the Instagram, and I just, I respond pretty much to everybody. So I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do it. So yeah, we're here.
Yeah, well, thank you for responding first off, because I mean, this is again still awesome. I'm always jacked up to do stuff like this, but then again, it's one thing that I've kind of found with being more of like or kind of growing podcast and emerging podcast as well. I got to hustle to try and figure out how to get some of these bands on there and go about it in so many different ways. And sometimes the best way is just to go straight to the source.
Honest, dude, for me, reach out. All someone can say is yes or no, or talk to my publicist or somebody else. It's life. We got to make things happen, right?
Exactly. The best answer you can get out of that is yes. The second best answer you can get is no. The worst answer you can get is nothing, because then you never know.
Absolutely. Nothing. Yeah. No, at least you know where you stand. Yes is the best answer, and no response is kind of like, that's kind of whack. But we're past that. We're here. Exactly. What do you want to talk about, Kevin? Let's talk about it.
Well, first thing I want to talk about is Insult to Injury, because again, that's your latest single. It's coming off of Ghost in the Shadows album. So I really want to jump into this. And first thing I want to talk about is, what was the inspiration behind this song and the music video as well? Because it all tied in incredibly well together, especially with the vivid imagery on the music video.
Well, I mean, thank you first and foremost. The climate we're in. I wrote the lyrics, and we wrote the song about 10 minutes, and I had the visualization of being chased by a Klansman. So I just that's why it's like I was chased by ghosts in the effing night. I don't know if we can curse, so I didn't want to curse right now. So that's what that happened. So then when we were thinking about the video, it was kind of like, so depicting a black guy walking into a neighborhood and him dealing with the imagery of, a Klansman in some aspect. It's the climate. We always kind of touched on stuff that's going on in the world. So it made sense.
It did make sense, and it was just also incredible, just again with the climate that we're in, especially when you release it as well, just how relevant it was to the situation that we were going through at that time of the world and still are going through today.
I was going to say, yeah, we're still going through it. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, that was initially not supposed to be our first single. We have another song that's coming out. I think it'll be out sometime in July 8th, maybe, Blood and Gold. And that's going to be our next single. But it's like, if you've heard another version, this is the version. You should listen to the one that's coming out on Ghost in the Shadows. But that was supposed to be our first single. We shot that video, and then, Insult to Injury is supposed to be later. But the climate, the time, said this is more urgent. This is like, people need to hear this. This is what's going on. And, we wrote the song before all this happened. Our album's been done. Our album was done before the pandemic hit. It was supposed to come out in May. Our first single was supposed to come out, I think, in I don't remember the date anymore, but it was supposed to come out way before all this stuff happens. But it happens for a reason. And I'm glad that we are creating, there are more ears open to stuff that's being said, because the conversation has been happening for a long time. I'm like looking at myself instead of looking at you.
Hey, it's okay.
Yeah. The conversation has been happening for a long time, so it's good that now more ears and people are more susceptible to listening actually what's going on. So we're here.
And one thing you can tell with people, especially listening a lot more of what's going on right now, is taking a look at the outcome, especially after those first couple of weeks following what happened on Memorial Day, with how many protests were happening, not only within the city of Minneapolis where it happened, but all over the country, and how consistently they were happening as well. Because it's an everyday thing, and there are still protests going on even today.
Absolutely, as it should be. There's a lot of vile stuff that's been happening, in this country for years and still happening. And it's important that people speak out about it and people protest about it to, affect change. So it's important. Our goal is to do our part. We're musicians still when it's all said and done. So like we try to convey different emotions of, social unrest, and at the same time, our pain, our joy, our celebration of life, and everything in between.
Exactly, and especially having more of that hardcore punk sound as well, especially in a song like Insult to Injury as well, really brings it out, because punk rock's always been at the forefront of a lot of social issues as well, bringing a lot of things forefront ever since it started, especially in like the late 60s, early 70s, when you're talking about a lot of the older punk bands like the Ramones, the Sex Pistols, even go to the Dead Kennedys as well, and then jump into more bands that are out there today, like you guys. I'm wearing a Rise Against t-shirt because I absolutely love punk rock. I love Rise Against. Anti-Flag, Pennywise, Against Me. I've seen a bunch of other smaller bands as well here in Milwaukee, and it's just the energy that brings it out there. It's raw, it's emotional, it's pure. Just put it out in your face.
Thank you. I don't feel like the Ramones were really political or social. I think the Ramones were punk, definitely. And a shout out to the Ramones. I'm not gonna shout the Ramones out, but they're from Queens. I'm from Queens, so they're New York band. But I don't think they were political. I think Sex Pistols kind of had like social political leanings. I think punk has always had a window of being like social and political, but a lot of it has just kind of been like some more nihilistic. There's other bands have been talking about stuff, but I don't think people are not used to hearing black bands talk about stuff. About some people don't even know about Bad Brains. There's Bad Brains, a lot of black punk bands, and there's been political talk, there's been anti-cop rhetoric, so to speak, but talking about how we're talking about realizing that we could actually beat George Floyd or Breonna Taylor or Trayvon Martin or whoever, many countless names of people who've been murdered, makes it more urgent. You know what I mean? But it's like, but the climate of punk rock has always been social and political in some aspects.
Yeah, and especially jumping back into the Insult to Injury video as well, because watching, you literally, like you said, you were following a man walking out of his home or walking out of a friend's house, walking through a neighborhood and being followed by someone, because it was just a single shot that you just kind of followed whoever was in the video, and then all of a sudden you start seeing kind of pick up the pace, kind of walking a little bit faster, and then running like he's being chased by someone that's trying to kill him, and all of a sudden get to a point where stands up and fights, and just, I'm not sure if in the scope of the video, if he just beat the guy up or if he killed the guy that was chasing him. I'm not sure where you guys are going with that, but you can tell he definitely, messed up his whole entire day.
He fought for his life, like we all are. We fighting for our lives out here. The reality of it is I've been chased before. I've been like, my band, we've experienced all types of racism with the music and in real life. So we want to depict that. We want to depict it. And our album reflects a lot of different things. Some of our stuff, our next single is more celebratory about just enjoying life. But, we want to talk about stuff that's really going on and only from a perspective of people who actually go through it,
Understandable. And the one thing too is you don't always want to focus on, the hardships in life. You do want to focus on the good things in life as well, but you got to balance them out, because the reality of the situation is not everything is always bad, but not everything is always good. So you got to balance that out. And also, because, life, there's times in life where life is completely worth living, but there's also times where it's like, okay, they're definitely going through some shit, and you want to put it out there. So you want to put out both sides basically both sides of life.
Yeah, the great thing about music is you express how you want to express it. We specifically decide to show an array of emotions because we have an array of emotions that we like to display, and we go through that as human beings. So we like to express that. There's certain bands who just want to show angst all the time, and that's what they do, and there's nothing wrong with that. We show a lot of different things, but some songs will be more celebratory, some songs will be more painful, some songs will be more joyous, and everything in between.
Yeah, and because if you had a song that was just, I mean, I'll use Anti-Flag as an example because a lot of their punk rock is very angsty. It's very upbeat and very out there in your face kind of thing. Because I've listened to their new album. I like their new album from this year. I saw them in concert last year and it was the exact same thing. But then going through your music as well, because other songs like Don't Shoot, I mean, you had this incredible funk influence in there as well, especially going through the majority of the songs. So you had a completely different feel on something like that as well. So I'm just kind of like taking a look at it. It's like, you know what? There's definitely more here than just that standard, punk rock sound. There is so much more going on. Because even I remember when you brought it up to me saying like, also you were influenced by like funk, hip hop, metal, salsa, jazz, blues. And I'm like, holy shit, I got to go and listen to more of this to really understand, where this is coming from. As I was going through song by song, I'm just like, there's so many different influences in there outside of just this punk style. There's so much more going on and it's incredible.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, absolutely. To be honest, dude, like punk and hardcore as a vehicle, and that's what we do, and we enjoy it. But we don't every day of our life listen to punk and hardcore, man. We listen to so much music. We're music people. We listen to funk, we listen to soul, like I said, merengue. We listen to salsa, we listen to jazz, we listen to hip hop, we listen to metal sometimes, listen to classic rock. We listen to music. The reason why we sound how we sound because we don't feel like we're not trying to recreate anything. We're just doing what comes natural from us. We're all from New York City, born and raised. So New York is a melting pot. The time we grew up, where you listen to a lot of different music. You're around skateboarders, you're around hardcore kids, punk rockers, metalheads, hip hop kids, just club kids. And if you're open-minded and diverse enough, and your palate, you're open to hearing new stuff, it affects you, the environment. So our music is a reflection of that. Our music is a reflection of a pre-gentrified New York City. That's how our music sounds.
Yeah, and if that's what you guys went through, that's exactly how it should be as well. Because if it was just something where it's like, I'm just going to be this one kind of sound the whole entire way through, and you might just end up sounding like, every other punk band out there. However, when you add so much more influence in there through things that you listen to, through different experiences with music that you've had in your life and different emotions you've connected with those sounds. I mean, when you put them into your music, you're going to create something that is completely different and stands out from everybody else because it is genuinely you. And all the great bands out there, that's what they've done is they just put themselves out there. They didn't try and be anybody else but themselves. And you can clearly tell through your music, through Insult to Injury, through Don't Shoot, through Wet Baby. It's just, there's so much going on in there that's so different through each of the three songs. And I'm just sitting there thinking like, there's got to be so many different influences that you've taken in. And also, I can't wait to see what happens on Ghost in the Shadow because I've got a feeling there's going to be so many different more influences that I'm not even expecting to come into your music. And it's just going to blow us all away.
Yeah, thank you. I think like Ghost in the Shadow is going to be a continuation of what we've been doing, which is doing our brand of music. And our style of music is diverse. It's honest. It's genuine. We live by the groove. We love the groove. It's punky. It's hardcore. There's various. Sometimes the time signatures change. Sometimes it's just dirty rock and roll. We're not trying to remake an album that's already been done. We're making everything we're doing. We're making it for the first time. You know what I mean? So the first time because we're not limited to a genre. We know that when people hear it, it's like, it's like, you guys are like a hardcore punk band, but you can't really name a hardcore punk band that sounds like us. So
absolutely not.
You know what I mean? So like, it's cool. It's cool. We will, we're a rock and roll band. We're a hardcore punk band, whatever, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, not say it doesn't matter, but it's like, we don't have a cap or a ceiling on what we feel we can do. As long as we like it, we enjoy it. And the people who enjoy our music enjoy it, we do it. That's we're going to be true to ourselves regardless.
Exactly. As you continue to grow as a band and continue to gain more audience as well, people are just going to connect with you more because you're just being 100% yourself in this, 100% authentic. And that's always what draws people to music is when the people that are creating this music are 100% authentic because then us as the listeners over here, because I don't play anything. I used to play drums when I was a kid, but I've never written anything ever. But I connect with music in so many different ways because everyone's telling their own story. Everyone's telling the things they went through and I'm able to relate to those things just by listening to My Life and kind of give those experiences just a tangible sound to listen to. And a lot of people could easily take that from your music as well.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the goal, ideally, to do what you do uncompromised and people to appreciate it. If you can do that, you kind of feel like, that's a win-win.
It easily is. It easily is. I kind of want to jump back into insult to injury as well. And I kind of want to go into your vocals specifically on this because they really stuck out to me just because they were rough, but they had like a significant but specific slight scratch of the vocals as well, where it really brought a roughness to it. So kind of what was the idea behind bringing that vocal style to a song like this?
There was no idea, man. We literally were jamming. We're in rehearsal and just coming up and working on another song. And my guitarist, Alcatraz, shout out to him because he's like a riff master. He started playing something. I'm like, yo, what's that? He's like, sometimes it's whoa, play that. And I'm like, yo, Ramsey, get on the drums. And we just start doing that. And he started playing it, and once Ramsey hit the drums, I just started hearing the lyrics. And I just started writing them, I wrote it on the spot. Boom, boom, boom. I didn't sit around and think I'm going to scream like this or I'm going to sing like this. It I was Jay Spotted. It just came like that. You hear another song and once you get a chance to hear the whole, if you go to the discography, you can tell that I don't do the same vocal style every song. And on our album, you'll hear that too. It's not it's not planned out. It's not planned. It's like the spirit tells you okay, boom, this feels like this. Attack. Does it work or doesn't it work? It works. All right, we're keeping it. You know what I mean? And then sometimes I hear stuff and I want to sing, and sometimes I want to scream. It's not really thought out. It just, the music brings it out. And sometimes, I'll be maybe playing around with melodies, but that song specifically, I had nothing was in my mind until I heard that riff. I heard the riff, and that's how it told me to attack it. He played the riff, and as soon as the drums came, I said that first line. I was chased by ghosts in the effing night. You know what I mean? And I just started writing it right on the spot.
Yeah, and one thing with me, it's when I listen to albums, especially when I'm doing my album reviews, one thing I always end up really gravitating towards is when I'm able to tell where all of a sudden it's just like the vocals and the instrumentation just match up perfectly and they play off of one another. And it just seems like, one piece is telling the other what to do and you're just going with it. You're just listening to the music, exactly what's going on. And by you saying that, I'm like, it makes perfect sense on this because with the type of instrumentation that was there because especially the guitar, it was rough, had a little bit of like a thrash metal and punk rock mix into it. It was kind of like, I kind of thought it was like kind of like hardcore punk meets Enter Sandman at the same time too. I was like, holy shit. And then listening to the rougher style vocals that you went with, I was trying to figure out because something clicked in my mind. I was like, I've definitely felt the feeling of just the energy, the raw energy that had come from your vocals on this track during a live show for a different band. I'm just like, holy crap, I can't believe this. And that show I went to, it was, I'll put it that way, when that band was on, it was fun as hell because I was bouncing around the mosh pit. It was when I saw Seven Dust.
Okay, cool. Yeah. With John, yeah, for sure. Yeah, we don't plan stuff out like that, man. We just play music, dude. We're not like, our music is like very organic, no GMOs, man. Like we just play. And we pick out the best stuff and then we cultivate it. I write all the time. I literally just write all the time. So I just jot down ideas. So sometimes I have ideas when I'm going to rehearsal. Sometimes I write on the spot. Sometimes guys have riffs. I have riffs. We all got ideas. We bring it there. Sometimes it's right on the spot. We make songs sometimes in 10 minutes. Sometimes it takes 3 months to get the song right. It's not really planned besides making the best songs that are best to perform. We make songs to play live. Every song we have, we can play live. There's no effects. I can do the screams, all that stuff is live with the energy. Because we made it for that. That's how it was made.
Oh, easily. And when you play off that energy, especially during a live show as well, because while you're playing and you're really putting out that energy towards the crowd, that crowd's going to be going just as crazy as well with whatever your kind of energy you're putting out. And they're going to keep throwing it back at you. So you're going to be feeding off of each other's energy. And next thing you know, you've got one hell of a show on your hands.
Dude, all you gotta do is check us online. We got videos of us performing live. you'll see what I'm talking about. You gotta check that out. Check it out, and you know what I mean. Like, yeah, man, that's all our music is for the live show. We make music. We make music for the show. You know what I mean? Like that's the most important thing. Like, you know, the recordings are great because people get to hear it over and over. And writing it, the process of writing it is wonderful, but actually performing and getting that response from the crowd, that's the payoff, you know?
Well, I'll put it this way, a couple things. One, I have seen some of your live videos. I was watching them a little bit today, and I'm just thinking, okay, once this pandemic's over, because there's so many bands I want to go and see live, I'm just like already added to the list of Rebelmatic because this looks fun as all hell.
It's going to be fun. Believe me, it's going to be fun. It's going to be energetic. It's going to be funky. It's going to be live. It's going to be aggressive. It's going to be mosh pits. It's all like, you know, we do what we do. Like, it's there. It's all in there. You know, it's all in there.
Exactly. And when you're able to, a lot of times especially with myself, it's where I really started getting to some bands too is after I see them live, because just being able to connect with the artist in a live setting, hearing the music the way it's just raw, it's just emotional, it's just there.
Yeah.
It's just the artist putting themselves out there. When you're able to connect as well and really attach a very positive experience to it during a live show, you're gonna want to go back to listen to that band again and again and again and relive that experience. And I've got plenty of bands that I do that with Motionless in White a lot, do that with Ice Nine Kills a shit ton, because that was one of the funnest concerts I've ever been to. And it's just like, I'm so stuck in with a bunch of these different bands because of how I enjoy watching them when they play a live show. And it adds to so much of the experience.
Mm-hmm. It's something spiritual, even if you're not a spiritual person. It's a feeling. It's a big feeling, you know?
Yeah, I agree, because I'm not the most spiritual person out there.
That's what I said, like, whether you're spiritual or not, it's nothing to do with religion. It's just it's a feel. It's an energy that comes over you that makes you say, wow, yeah, I need to go back for this fix of this feeling, you know?
Yeah, and that's why once the pandemic hit, I was just like, you've got to be kidding me, because all of a sudden I'm seeing concerts I'm supposed to go to and concerts for bands I do want to go see. All of a sudden it's, you know, postponed, rescheduled, postponed again, canceled. I'm just like, yeah. I'm on like month 4 without live music right now. I'm just like, come on, what the hell, man?
Imagine that. You're doing that as a person who, you know, as a supporter of music. Imagine playing it too. It's the same feeling. It's an itch not to, you know, to play out in front of people. It's like that's like, you know, it's like going cold turkey. It's a lot. You know what I mean? It's a lot.
Oh yeah, it is a lot. And it's just even watching live videos, you're just kind of just seeing what the experience like, you know, in a different setting as well, especially for bands that I haven't seen live. It just keeps adding on to it, where I just kind of want to see some more bands and get as many of these experiences as I can, because I love jumping in the mosh pit. I love getting bounced around in there. Even if I get knocked down, just getting picked back up again, because everyone just knows the rules. You're in there to have a good time. If you get knocked down, pick the guy up. It doesn't matter if he hit you 3 or 4 times, you know, pick him back up. And then all of a sudden at the end of the song, everyone's usually giving each other fist bumps, high fives. I've got a bunch of hugs afterwards. I'm just like, now this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's good. It's really great. It's a great feeling.
Oh, it is. And I mean, you guys have to, like you said, you have to be itching just to get back on stage live, because I was taking a look at some of the places that you've played as well. And a lot of the places I've seen you guys play as well, especially just through your Spotify, through a couple of places I found online, especially places around New York City, through different boroughs like Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens. I've seen you. That fact, you guys played in Philadelphia and DC, Virginia, Maryland, Atlanta. So you guys, it seems like you guys have basically primarily stayed on the eastern part of the United States.
Yeah, we played Florida, we played Atlanta, we played Toronto. Yeah, we played. We're about to. I feel like once this pandemic is like quelled, you know, the rest of the world is going to get to understand what we've been, what the east part of the world has been understanding for a minute. They're going to understand what we bring forth. I think, you know, definitely the Midwest, West Coast is in the plans, overseas is in the plans. All that's in the plans. It's just a matter of timing and, you know, when things are safe for people to come congregate. You know?
Oh, easily. I mean, we're all waiting for that moment, because I'm so like, I just want to go see a show and just get lost and just go, ah! I'm stuck on it. I can't get out of my head.
It's a good thing. It's a lot worse thing to be stuck on than thinking about playing or seeing a show. The live show is definitely a good thing to want to see and want to be at, you know?
Oh, it is, because there's so many different times where it's just, I've seen so many crazy things happen, but it's just the camaraderie between everybody that's at that show, because everyone's there because one of the bands that's there, they are connected with in a certain way that they just want to go and see them live, and they want to have that experience of seeing them live. So it's just everyone's able to kind of just get lost, and all the bullshit that happens in the world just goes away for however long the set is. And it's just, and once the set is over, kind of everyone looks at each other. It's just like, now that was what I'm fucking talking about. And everyone leaves in a fantastic mood. No one leaves pissed ever.
Yeah, no, that's unless they got thrown out because acting like a jerk. But otherwise, if you enjoyed the show and you were there and you really were in the moment and experienced it, hell yeah, you should be in a euphoric mind state at least before, after leaving it, right? You feel high.
Oh, easily. It is a high, basically, because you're just happy because you just spent a couple hours listening to live music, experiencing live music, and just connecting with as many people that were there in the crowd, in the pit, the band on stage. And it's just, there's a certain connection that just happens that just makes you feel just fantastic every time you leave a show.
Yeah, it's a life changer. That's the reason I do music, man. It's a life changer. It's going to shows and performing it changed my life and how I perceive things, and just having that feeling you just described right there of like all the stress and all the whatever you're going through, like you forgot about it for an hour or 2 hours, and all that extra energy is like left. You know what I mean? You just feel like like you could just take a shower, maybe eat a pizza or whatever you're into, and just like, you know what I mean, just feel good. Like, yeah, this is great. This is like all right. And then, the next day you may be high for a day or two just off of that feeling. Then you like go back to work for a while and be like, I got to go to another show. This is killing me.
Oh yeah, that's why it's like for the full-time job I work, it was for a while, it was every single Friday, all of a sudden my boss is on a call. He's like, "Alrighty, Kevin, so what concert are you going to see this weekend?" And it was like a string of like 6 or 7 weeks where it was like, okay, I'm going to see Chord, I'm going to see Disturbed, I'm going to see Mosh, I'm going to see A Day to Remember, now Ice Nine Kills, now I'm going to see Devil Wears Prada and Norma Jean. It's just like, right. Every single Monday I came in super duper happy because I just got to go crazy in a mosh pit. I got to connect with all the music that was there, got to connect the band, got to have fun with the rest of the fans, and it was just something else. It was just, you couldn't break my spirit at all. It was just like, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, dude. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. Like connecting with people and like feeling that feeling you just expressed right there. That's what it's about.
Oh, it is, because if I leave a show going like this on the inside or even on the outside, just going like this, I'm gonna be happy for the next couple of days, no matter what, unless something tragic happens. But it's really hard to break my mood, especially after a live show. It's really tough.
No, I get it. I've definitely walked around high, like off of music for days, you know what I mean? And then be like, oh, regular life back. Oh, bummer. You know what I mean? Like I need another high, And I'm just talking about music because I don't want to get high. But just,
yeah. It's that euphoric feeling you get, when you just are just so damn happy. The fact that you were at a live show, you just got to experience everything that was the music.
No, 100%. What else? Any other questions you got, Kevin? I got a little time, but just like, got any more specific ones?
I kind of want to backtrack a little bit because you're talking about how, especially with music, how it really changed your life. So I kind of want to backtrack to that. Like, what was the biggest decision that you made getting into music and just wanting to go forward with it and become a musician and make this your passion, make this your dream, make this, basically come true?
Yeah, what I do. It probably happened in high school. Like, prior to that, I was into sports. Like I played sports from like 7 to 14. That's all I wanted to do was play football and do stuff like that. Music before that was just something that I liked, but it wasn't like a part of what I did. And then after like high school I didn't really care about sports as much no more. I liked sports, but like music became that passion. And then after, I started playing and writing songs and performing and going to a lot of shows. And from there, that's a long time ago, man. And that changed that. And just the feeling that music gave me like the feeling, like the songs spoke to me. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh wow. And then it's like wanting to like recreate that feeling through my own songs. And like maybe someone would feel how I felt about songs that I grew up on, about my own songs that I wrote. You know what I mean? And they do. I mean, people have told me that they didn't tell the same thing, but the same how I felt about other people's music. People have told me about my music, our music, like that. So I guess it's come full circle. So yeah, I'm a lifer, man. I'm a lifer. There's no way around it. I'm a lifer. This is what I do. Regardless of anything in between, this is what I do.
Oh, yeah. And because I'm taking a look again at your discography right now, because your first album, Pray for the Vulture, came out back in 2009. So you've really been doing this for quite a long time. If that first album came out in 2009, it's over a decade at the bare minimum, but I'm almost certain that it goes way before that.
Yeah, for sure. I've been doing music a long time. A decade's a long time, but I've been doing music way longer than a decade. But yeah, it's a reason. Like I would do music at this point, whether I made a penny or not. I have to do music. I have to express myself. Like my whole band, we have to do music. We just happen to be really good at what we do because we've been doing it long enough and we love what we do. So that's why I think people feel that. They feel that, like, you can tell we enjoy what we do. There's no like, no one's like the sound we've created is a sound we've created organically. It's not like a popular sound that people are like, yo, you need to sound like this. It's like, this is a sound we created because this is what we like. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun. It's a lot. It's a lot. Keeping a band together is a lot, but when it's bigger than you have to. It's important, If I would have stopped the band after the first album, I want to be here with you, being interviewed by you,
No, and you won't be coming out with what I'm going to assume, especially after listening to Insult to Injury, is going to be a killer Ghost in the Shadow album on August 28th.
The album is, listen, man, the album is fantastic. It's the best sounding album we've created out of all of our music. The people who are involved, Mark O'Connell from Take It Back Sunday producing it, brought out the best in us. Mike Pep mixing it, did an incredible job. Michael Pacholi recording it, did an incredible job. I forgot who mastered it, but everyone involved, Dan Wallace helping, with it. Everyone involved helped make this record. Like, we're very proud of this, this record. This is a record we stand by. Not just because it's us. Like, I would like it if it wasn't me. I'm biased, obviously, but I can tell you one thing. If you heard our catalog, this sounds the best quality-wise. This is our most mature work, but not mature in the sense of like, old fogey, in the sense of like, it's just like we refine what we've been doing and bring it to another level. So we're excited about it. August 28th, Red Right Recordings. It'll be out. Go get the vinyl. Go stream it. Go, pre-order it now.
Oh, you guys are making a vinyl for it?
Yeah, man. It's a vinyl. You can pre-order the vinyl right now. Limited edition. Pre-order the vinyl. RedRightRecordings.com. You can pre-order Ghost in the Shadows.
I'm going to have to remember that for a couple reasons. One, I got to make sure I put that in the description of both the YouTube video and the podcast notes. Two, I'm going to probably have to order one for myself so I can play it on this bad boy right here and just spin it and have a good time.
Yeah, you gotta have. Wow, the first time my phone said high temperature, that's crazy. It said high. I don't know, maybe because I'm in whatever. I'm in my room and it's like no air conditioner, fan. So it's maybe it's like 90 degrees out here in New York right now.
No, it's like, I think it was, here in Milwaukee, I think today, I think it was like 88, 89, maybe humid as hell. So I had my air conditioning running beforehand just to try and make sure it was cool because I knew otherwise I'd be sitting here sweating like crazy, but I had to turn it off because it's loud as hell. So I'm just like, okay, I'm going to have to deal with this, but at least I'm going to try and deal with this in a little bit of a cooler setting because I'm taking a look at the temperature right now. I'm at 79 here.
No, I got it. I've already did 2 showers. I'm gonna have to do another one soon just to make it, to even it out. But that's neither here nor there right now. We're excited about the album Ghost in the Shadows. My daughter came up with the title of it. The picture, if you see the picture of the album, that's my daughter. The actual picture, the girl on the cover is my daughter. That's a drawing of my daughter. It's very New York, but it's very universal. It's punk rock, it's hardcore, it's groovy. I would say just listen to our discography, and then when you hear the discography, know that this album is going to be that, but bumped up. It's going to be tighter. It's going to be sound. The sound you hear in Insult to Injury, the pristineness and how loud and how clear it and stuff. That's how the album sounds. You know what I mean? And it's diverse. Every song, we didn't make 10 Insult to Injuries. Every song is different. You know what I mean? Like vocally, I'm not doing the same thing on every song. It's like you'll hear it. You'll hear the diversity. You'll hear like, like you just said, look, Wet Baby, I don't sound how I sound on Don't Shoot. Don't Shoot, I don't sound how I sound on Insult to Injury. And then there's many other songs. It changes. But it varies.
Yeah, it changes, and it also keeps your sound completely dynamic as well, because you're never necessarily sure exactly what you're going to get. There are bands out there where I'm almost dead certain every time they release new music, I know what I'm going to get from them. A band like Breaking Benjamin is a perfect example. While I absolutely love that sound, I pretty much know exactly what kind of sound to expect from every song they release. However, when it comes to Rebelmatic, there's so much dynamic sounds in every single song that you're never going to get something that sounds the exact same. There's so many different influences that come into play from not only yourself, but the rest of the band, everything you've listened to over your lives and let you enjoy, just bringing it all in your music, just showing it all up. And it stands out so much from song to song. You're never going to get something that sounds the same.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're right. I mean, it can't sound exact. There's a signature that if you listen to us enough, you'll know it's our song. And if you get used to hearing my voice, you're like, oh, that sounds like Creature. But you're like, it can't tell exactly what we're going to do because we don't know exactly what we're going to do. You're like, we just know we're going to like, we're trying to make music that we like. That's the point. We're making music we like first and then that the people like, that like us. But we start to make it, we want to be stoked about it. Like, yo, this song is crazy. Let's play it. Let's see what people think. It starts from that, man. It starts from that. Like I said, vocally, I don't sit around thinking about what I want to do. I do it. I write and I just think of ideas and it's very organic, very organic.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're not trying to recreate anything. We're just making the stuff we make.
Yeah, I think a good example of like the difference between the two is like what you're talking about, where it's like instead of just trying to sit down, write down, be like, okay, this is what we want to do, versus just kind of going with what you want to go with naturally, organically, and work with it, is a band like Sleeping with Sirens, because on their 2017 album, they basically worked with a lot of different producers, a lot of different people, and the album they just didn't connect with it. It was just everything was very structured, and they didn't really connect with it. All of a sudden, their album that came out last year, they went back to their old writing style, and it sounded so much better because it just was organically them. It was what they wanted to do. So like what you said earlier, where it might take you guys 10 minutes to make a song, or it might take you 3 months. It doesn't matter. What matters is you're making the type of music that you want to make. It just comes naturally. It works. And that's when you know that you're making something incredible, because it just happens. It's not built. It's not structured to make a certain sound or anything. It just comes out of you and it just boom, here it is.
Yeah, you learn. I mean, and look, if we're all listening to blues and bachata, you believe me, that's probably going to bleed into our music. If we go to a period we're all listening to that, you're going to hear that probably in our music song. We don't know. We just do what we like, and we're always working to expand it. But it's never like, let's make a song like this. It's like, oh wow, I like that, man. Yo, check out this riff I'm working on. Oh, I like that. Yo, play some drums. Oh, y'all got an idea too. I got a part for a break, and then it's kind of like, it'll be like that. It'll be like that.
Yeah, and if you take a look at a lot of the great bands as well, a lot of the bands that really, hit it big and just kept growing and growing and growing, and are some of the biggest bands of all time, that's kind of what they did. They didn't listen and try and say, oh, we're going to make a sound that sounds, or not, we're going to make music that sounds like blank or that sounds like blank. They just created their own sound, created their own style, and then just went forward with it.
I mean, yeah, it's easy to do when you're like, when the style you're doing is not really popular, it's just what you like and people kind of catch on to it. But I think it's harder once you're doing something and it gets popular, then you feel like you have to do it a certain way. It's kind of the great thing about being independent and like just doing your music yourself, and then, finally you get signed, and it's like, but you still have the creative freedom to do what we do. if we weren't on a label we're on now that supports us in what we're doing, and you know, who knows? It could be the sound could be tampered with, but our sound is our sound because this is what we like doing. This is what got us here. You know?
Yeah, and you don't want to be on a label that's going to be like, oh, you know, we want you to do this now, or want you to do this now. No, because that's not you. You're not going to enjoy doing that. You're going to only enjoy it if you're making the type of music that you want to make, that you're really feeling, that it's just going to come out of you naturally. That's what you want to make, and that's what's going to resonate a lot more with the people that listen to your music, because it is genuinely, unauthentically your music and Rebelmatic.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Our label is, for the record, our label is extremely supportive in what we do. They encourage us to keep doing what we've been doing. So that's a wonderful thing. It's a great working relationship. We're happy to be there. You know?
And I mean, I after what you've been talking about with them as well, I'm safe to assume that they're going to put all that they can behind Ghost in the Shadows.
Oh yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, man. Dude, I've been doing so many interviews and so stuff. It's like it's not even started yet. It's about to be crazy. Yeah, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on.
Yeah, because I mean, we're doing this in early July and it's coming out at the end of August. I know you're gonna, especially with what you've been saying right now, is you've been doing a lot of interviews already. Imagine what's gonna happen in the next 2 months. It's just gonna keep getting crazier and crazier and crazier. But the fact of the matter is it seems like you're completely enjoying doing this to promote your music, to promote your art and what you do. And it just, I mean, even during this, like, it's just, I can tell it just basically from not only listening to your voice, but just looking at you talk as well, as just there's a certain excitement that's in you about this. So you know that this is gonna be awesome.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah, no, dude, it's like dude, you work your whole life to have people even care about what you do, and then when people care about it, how are you gonna complain? Come on, man. I'm happy people are checking us out more. More people are checking us out. I'm happy that I'm doing interviews after interviews after interviews, and articles are coming out, and we're on, like, God knows how many playlists right now. I think it's great. I want to be on 1 million playlists. I want to have 1 million Spotify listeners. If we could do all that with just being us, why not? We're not compromising who we are. We're not like pandering. We're just doing what we do. So we're here for it. We're here to do what we do and do it the best of our abilities. I'm here to do interviews. We're here to perform. We're here to keep sending the good energy and talk about some of the difficult stuff that people might not want to talk about. But that's what it is.
And if talking about stuff that people don't want to talk about makes them uncomfortable, then so be it. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, it's life is. Man, listen, it's a couple minutes. You listen or you don't listen. It's not going to be the end of the world. We're asking what 25 minutes of your time for the record. Listen or don't listen. I mean, it's cool. We want you to listen. We encourage you to listen. We hope you listen, but this is not a pander party. I'm not pandering to anybody. We're gonna do what
and you shouldn't. And you shouldn't pander to anybody, because if you start pandering to somebody, it's just going to end up having a trickle effect. All of a sudden, you're not going to be doing what you want to do anymore.
Yeah, you don't even know what you're doing. You're just doing it because you think that's what people want you to do, and you're not doing what's like genuine to you. And now you're just like a shell of who you are. But I'm not really worried about that. I just feel like I'm happy to be doing music still. I'm happy to be doing this. Have this record coming out. Looking forward to going on tour. Happy to doing this interview right now. Yeah, man. Yeah. I gotta wrap it up soon though, but let's we could get a couple more questions in.
Alrighty, I got one that I think might take up a good chunk of the rest of the time, but it's about your live shows. And one thing I always like to ask every artist I end up talking with is I always like hearing stories. I'm always like, yeah, story time, woo. So I always like to ask if you got some like crazy live show story that you can tell me that might make me just laugh or just be like, whoa. I always love hearing stuff like that.
I don't know if there's any crazy live story shows. I mean, just to me, something that would maybe crazy to someone else is regular to me. Nothing. I would say, I would have to re-answer that after we go on the road, after Ghost in the Shadows come out. I've had great live story shows, but I just think to give you the proper answer, I think once the record comes out, we tour it, I think that answer you might be wanting to hear that answer a little bit more than what I can give you right now. Right now, I'm just going to give you, it's just we perform with our heart. we give it 110%. And I mean, it's crazy. It's fun. You know, it doesn't really, you know, whether it's 20 people there, 200 people, 2,000, we're going to play our asses off and leave everything on the floor. But that's not necessarily a funny story or what's the name. That's just kind of like more of an aesthetic and an ethos.
Okay.
So I would say, let's, probably try to reconvene after the record comes out and we go on the road, pandemic, let's try to reschedule. We'll do it again and talk about it after the record's out. And it's like, oh, wow. So I know you guys, you guys been on tour. You got some stories for me? That might make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, and then not only that, but we can also talk about at that point too, when Ghost in the Shadow comes out, the reception that you had behind it and everything that goes after that. Because from the release point to finally being able to tour post pandemic to all the crazy stuff that happens there. Because I mean, with this, what you guys are talking about, trying to go further Midwest and West as well. I mean, all of a sudden your crazy story might end up being, oh, we were at a show and all of a sudden the pit was going absolutely insane. Next thing you know, we saw some guy just fly like 6-7 feet in the air, land on his face, and it was like, oh wow, that looked like it hurt. And all of a sudden you see the guy stand up and it's me with a broken nose going like, yeah.
God, wow, yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, that'd be intense. But that would be a crazy story, and that would be a story to reconvene.
That easily would be a story to reconvene on. And well, I'm gonna see if I can make that happen, especially because, well, usually during live shows something weird happens to me, whether it's I get a black eye, I get a giant cut on my eye, I almost break my nose 2 different occasions. I see someone get punched out because they deserved it, because they were harassing somebody and someone came out of nowhere and just decked the guy, land on the floor, out cold. Security comes in. They look at us. They look at the guy that's on the ground. They look at us again. And then they just take the guy that got knocked out because he was causing trouble at other shows. They picked him up and just walked him out.
No, absolutely. I got my second warning for my phone is overheating.
Okay. All right, we can wrap this up. We've done about 50 minutes, so that's still pretty damn good.
50 is good. 50 is good. That's quality. 50 quality.
And we can always have, like we said, this ain't the only one. After Ghost in the Shadow comes out, after you guys tour, we'll reconvene again and we'll do a whole bunch of this stuff.
Absolutely. And you'll be bigger, we'll be bigger, and it'll be fun more. You know what I mean? It's fun now, but we'll have more stories.
That is the absolute plan. All right, Creature, before we go sign off, anything you want to say at the end, promote Ghost in the Shadow, all of that stuff, go for it.
First, thank you, Kevin, for having me for the interview. Appreciate you. Appreciate your time. Everyone, thank you for listening. This is Creature from Rebelmatic. We're from New York City. Our album is called Ghost in the Shadows. It's coming out on Red Right Recordings on August 28th, 2020. Please pick it up. Support it if you like heavy music, original music, organic music. The best way to describe our sound is sounding like James Brown in a mosh pit. If that intrigues you, check it out. You can go online and check out our discography. And appreciate your time. Appreciate, Chord Progression Radio, podcast. That's what it is.
Awesome. And thanks for the kind words, Creature. I've got a couple ideas for not only promoting this podcast, promoting Insult to Injury, but also working to help you guys promote the album as well when it comes out. So I've got ideas I'm working with already. And by the time we reconvene, you guys will be bigger. I'll be bigger. We'll do this again, and we'll just have a whole bunch of fun doing it.
Absolutely. My phone's going to turn off. So you want to stay on still? Or?
Yeah, just for a couple minutes after this, but we can end it right now. So end the recording right now. So Creature, thank you for being on the Chord Progression podcast. Listen to Rebelmatic. You can hear Insult to Injury today on the day this releases as the song of the day choice on My Song of the Day Rock 2000 today. Or at the end of the podcast, we'll have it playing for you guys as well in its entirety because, well, we want you guys to listen to it. And then when the album comes out on August 28th, you guys are going to know it comes out because I'm going to help promote the shit out of this one. So Creature, thank you very much. And this isn't a goodbye. This is more like a see you later, buddy.
Absolutely, buddy. Appreciate you.
Well, folks, that was my interview with Creature from the band Rebelmatic out of New York City. And my God, that was fun. But yes, there will be a part 2 because I cannot wait to hear their Ghost in the Shadows album. I cannot wait to see what happens when they go live. I can't wait to see these guys play live. And I can't wait to be a part of that live show and just go absolutely bonkers. And of course, we're going to talk all about Ghost in the Shadow when it comes out. We're going to be promoting it here on My Song Day Rock 2008 and on the Chord Progression podcast as well. So we're going to do a lot of this stuff. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. And it's just going to be one of these big, gigantic things that we're just going to make sure that we just kind of help promote this band and really get them big because, well, they're fucking good. So as a treat for you guys, I asked Creature we could do this and he was totally in for it. At the end of this episode, instead of my normal outro music and stuff like that, you're going to get a special treat. You're going to get to listen to the lead single off of Ghost in the Shadow, which will come out on August 28th. You get to listen to the lead single, Insult to Injury, right here on the podcast. So that's going to be it for me. Enjoy the song. And as you guys know, this is Kevin from the Chord Progression podcast brought to you by My Sunday Rock 2008. And you guys know how I end every one of these episodes with a big, healthy, and hearty see ya! Yeah!